You're listening to Startup Stories on Good Morning Delhi with Sarthak.
And what a lovely thing you're doing, giving us the privilege of your listenership. It is important, in these times, it's great to be heard. And today, of course, what we're trying to do is trying to make you listen to those people who've literally taken the leap of faith, who have, had enough faith in the idea that it will give them wings when they try and jump off that cliff of reality. And today, of course, a man who's literally made the cliffs his own. Mountain Design Inc. is what he's called his startup. Mr. Vikram Arya is here. Mr. Vikram Arya, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Saya. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, an honor, and all of that.
I tell you, lots and lots of corporate work, and then you decided, nah, पहाड़ों में चलेंगे बिल्कुल एकदम, huh? What was the scene?
It was always the plan. It just kept creeping in. Then I said, I can't hold it up anymore. And koi na koi, to somebody's going to see through the lie. Every time I turn up a presentation all sharply dressed, but with not the numbers or whatever, I thought they would see through it. So I thought, enough is enough. It's like a silent prayer to all those people driving to office. So I said, I can't be that and I can't do that for too long.
Absolutely. But matlab, just to sort of give the perspective to people, how long did you work in the corporate scenario?
I enjoyed myself in that scenario for 23 years.
23 years. And marketing, wasn't it?
Yeah, started with advertising, then telecom, but marketing all through, brand guy all through.
Yeah, brand guy all through. And then you decided, why not brand myself a startup entrepreneur? Huh?
Then I decided to get even more stupid, actually, and try and start something on my own.
So when did the idea strike? You said that it was always a plan, but when did the concrete start to hit the plan?
I think around, 2021 is when I left. So around 3 to 4 years prior to that.
Right.
Yes.
And it was always the plan. Describe to us what Mountain Design does.
See, this is pure happenstance. If somebody would come and tell me that what's your plan 5 years from now on, so I'm like one of those guys who will stand up very proudly and say, I don't know, because really don't.
Sure.
So it was pure happenstance. We'd keep going up to the mountains. Every weekend was a bunk. Now I can state it.
Yeah.
Or not a weekend. And we would go up to the mountains, the fishing, the lust for the water, the river, the walks and everything.
Sure.
And then the word spread around across the offices I worked at. This is an Uttarakhand boy, the hill boy and all. And he loves. So there were, conversations about kahan jana hai. Or, I'm looking at finally then became where do I pick up a piece of land? I really want to.
Sure.
Because everybody has this dream, one small house, little patch of land.
Oh, yeah.
Grow some stuff.
Absolutely.
Vegetables.
And vegetables.
Yes.
Yes.
And the views.
Yeah,
farmer.
No.
Pseudo farmer. So that then evolved into, and then, there was this thing which really irked me was this really bad construction and where people are shaving the mountain off its land and the trees. So I said, if we are from there, I think we have the responsibility, and there was always a design sense. So these 2-3 steps, so he said, why don't we start making something of our own?
So how do you describe in that one sentence when you're going to people telling them what Mountain Design does? What is that one sentence that you use?
I make cottages in the mountains.
Excellent. Tell us, the mountains and construction have increasingly become two things that are making people raise their eyebrows because of the sheer volume of destruction that we've seen, and the blatancy with which construction is going on without the thought, etc., etc. Have you had to face a little bit of opposition, a little bit of raised eyebrows yourself?
Absolutely. I remember, in my friend circle, immediate friend circle, family, and the one wife that I have, I find it very hard to convince them don't use plastic, etc. And they find it very irritating. I'll buy vegetables and just dunk them in the back of the car.
Sure.
So with that kind of reputation of being so irritating around plastic, we also did. In 2017, while I was at work, I went crazy and I said, there is the lake levels at Nainital fell hugely. And you could see rocks jutting out, which had never been seen since probably the 1890s.
Sure.
We got in touch with a few geologists. Being a marketing guy, all that we've done in advertising, whatever, make those calls, try and get something arranged, event arranged.
Absolutely.
So 2017, we did a walk from one end of Nainital to the other, barefoot, to highlight the plight of the lake, all the resources being dumped into it, all the resources being pulled out of it.
Sure.
We hear so much about landslides, but we also do not note or remember things called the bearing or the load capacity of a particular town. Right? We forget that. So with that, let's say a little reputation about me, when people say that you get into construction, and even, the snide and snarky remarks you get on social media at times.
Of course.
So the differentiator or whatever is that, there are people who are coming in, like I said, they come shave the mountain off completely with complete disregard. So they'll choose a great, beautiful piece of land with a great view. Then they'll over-construct, over-concretize.
Sure.
That means the land is gone and all you're left to do is not look at the land and the trees that were on it, but the view in front.
Yeah.
So it's about building responsibly. I have land and I'm only developing 50% of the land.
So what's the process? I mean, how does one go about getting what mountain design makes?
It's simple. Uttarakhand has kept it simple. You can buy land freehold in your name, regards other, so to say, hill stations.
Right.
You buy that. We help you buy the land. We design the place for you. And we construct for you. And we have a team that is there locally. I'm trying to get into more and more sustainable. And even old architectures, the Patthar Ka Kaam and all that stuff.
Sure.
All the trekking and keeping in touch with the trekking guides, etc. has kind of helped.
Right.
Of course, doing what used to be done so many years back with so much of ease that lasts 100 years. That supply chain is sadly now not there. So it's a little difficult. Jo shauqeen log hote hain, they really get into it.
Sure.
So in short, if you I'm doing these 6 cottages. If you want to buy a nice piece of land, if you want a nice place, peaceful, away from it all, probably 300 miles from the next mall or something or a traffic light, you get in touch with us.
The responsibility of doing what you do and the profit motive. I mean, two things that are extremely important. So I got to ask you that, of course, love and fresh air are great in the mountains, but there's also bills to be paid and infrastructure to be developed, etc. So what's the funding scene like?
I was trying to catch up with some startup terminology, being a corporate guy, ex-corporate guy, etc.
Exactly.
So
absolutely.
I have come to the terms that I do not know the difference between bootstrapped and 2 left feet. For me, they mean the same thing. I do not know. So so I've got into this business. This is off my own funding.
Okay.
I am, I'm really grateful for you having me in a section called Starters, where I am all that I am is just a small developer who's started developing. So we're not in the techpreneur, entrepreneur, fancy scene.
No, that's too many labels. Yeah, what we are trying to do is trying to listen to the beating heart, and I think yours beats quite loudly for beauty, does it not?
Yeah. So I do not know the next thing from bootstrap to funding and Series A and Series whatever. So we've got into this. Yes, what we're trying to do is trying to make an offering which says I will take care of the mountain, and we're developing 50% land. It's like doing a self goal. One, doing the funding on your own is like scoring your own self goal. And second one is saying, I have place for 12 cottages, but no, I'll make 5 cottages, 6 cottages in the first project. So yes, things are tough. But when you look at it, if you're able to do this and hold and uphold and be floating for the next 2 to 3 years for the project time, I think somewhere people will realize that this person is making with a certain sense of responsibility. And will appreciate.
So if I were to ask you, would you be comfortable telling us how much it would cost for a person to engage mountain design services or buy those cottages?
So my cottages are for 1.85 CR. And so they're placed very beautifully. We have every cottage is in its own private bubble. Here we guys in the city, no matter where we buy, the price tags are huge. I don't know what's happened to them. And then you get these bandit sized balconies.
For sure.
Exactly. Which you'll share with 5 other pigeons, etc. So, why are we having to pay so much when we can't live? Houses, or I would say flats in the city are more for essential. My school is here, my business is here. But when do you live?
Absolutely. And what are considering that we are all used to a certain kind of lifestyle with, certain kinds of amenities that are available, etc. Mountain living is not easy. And we all know that. So what are kind of amenities that you've had to sort of, involve in this whole
See,
project?
Sarthak, I'm telling you, there are people far crazier than you and I. I've had people who've called me up saying, no, listen, we don't want anything. And I'm so happy for that.
Right.
All they're saying is it safe? We don't want in crowded places. We want in an away place. The drive time should be healthy and should be decent and not back of the beyond. And they're not looking for any amenities. I've had to disconnect my, let's say, a sales pitch for business that I'm wanting with people saying, is there a club? Is there a clubhouse? Is there a gym, etc.? No. You come in to live in the mountain. You build in a place that belongs to the mountain.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We need to remember that it is a mountain and there's a certain reason why those mountains are occupied by people living in consonance with nature.
Absolutely.
Being the important thing.
Yeah, a little bit of hill in you.
There has to be a little bit of hill in you. So it's important to remember that. And it's also important to remember that respect for nature is paramount. So that's what. So if you want to, it is for a certain kind of person, isn't it?
Absolutely. There are people who will evaluate, like when you make for holidays and people say, itne mein to I could go there and here and jazz. It's not for those. It's for people who say, listen, I have done all the essentials in life, but there's something that's for me, my retreat.
For sure.
And you get away, reach there, and then you're living in the open. You're not living in a bandit-sized balcony, and then you're not, for your outdoor time, is not driving the 30 minutes to a mall.
So how long does it take for someone to from Delhi to reach where the cottages are?
7.5 hours, 8 hours tops.
Excellent. So what's the route? Where is it?
Oh, so you go via Gajrala. You go via Gajrala, you drive to Haldwani. Haldwani is the foothills.
Right.
You can also take a train there. You can fly to Pantnagar. And, whatever city journey that you've had, it melts away the moment you start driving up the hills in 5 hours.
Absolutely.
And, Sarthak, the place that I have, I love the places. This part is not marketing, okay? There, the road ends in 3 kilometers. 3 kilometers of hills with no traffic lights. There's no traffic lights there. 3 minutes mein you end at the Naina Devi Reserve.
Yeah.
That's where the road ends. And there's a road below which goes to a 15th century Kapaleshwar temple and ends there.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
So, if somebody likes that, that's for him.
It's a bit of an uphill climb, isn't it?
No, literally. It actually is.
But, we're living in a world of social media, Vikram. So, it's only proper that we ask you to do a bit of a listicle on all your learnings that you've had as an entrepreneur, as your startup man and all of that. So, give us 3 points, won't you?
Yeah, I've had this complete and I developed this rare disorder called complete aversion to corporate terms while I was working there. So now I completely leave social media marketing and all that stuff while I do the thinking and the writing and everything.
Of course.
To people who are
more
there to help
people.
To more competent people who are happy doing the grind and revert and get back to you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have a complete aversion.
And who are absolutely okay with making real estate ads that do not say there is a clubhouse and a pool.
Yeah, absolutely. So the moment people say, the thing is, Sarthak, so many self goals I've already told you, making I will make 6 where 12 is made, being very self-righteous and blatantly stupid in terms of mathematics are concerned, from a commerce and a profitability point of view. I've also, not printed any brochures. I've not gone to any brokers because I don't want that transactional conversation there. Yeah, but from what I've learned, one, it's not easy. And the second biggest one is, and I think it's the most significant one is, any businessman would tell you when you're starting out in business, unless you do not put in your own money and your own this thing, you cannot start. But, there are these people who should be wearing capes, the daily office grinder. Now, where will he get the money to invest in?
Absolutely.
So you got to hustle. You got to try and get somebody who believes in the story and says, so my first client, he said, okay, fine, you haven't made, I haven't made, let's do this. I believe in the idea. So, so there are no rules. Don't follow any rules, because the story is not just about all the startup guys that you've represented so well here. The story is not just about them. It's about everybody who's planning right now, driving, or who's trying to break his laptop keypad so he can go home.
Yeah, whose eyes are on the road, but the mind is
elsewhere.
Absolutely.
So it's all about them. For everybody, if you're looking at starting, and there are so many conversations, if I try and get work from any of my colleagues, if that 30-minute window I get, I was supposed to spend 20 minutes trying to get business from them. I end up spending 20 minutes discussing that, dude, you gotta leave, you gotta start something own. That poem that is there, no? The poem kya tha uska wo, William Scott.
The woods are lovely, dark and deep.
No. That's too quoted too often. There's what it says, lies there a soul with soul so dead, who to himself had never said, this is my native land. Now you change the land to, if you have a brain, why don't you do something?
Absolutely.
Lies there a man with soul so dead, do something about it.
Absolutely.
So,
you did, and you've done something about it now. And it's called Mountain Design. And if you want to know more, all you need to do is log on to mountaindesign.in. There are 6 cottages in the first project, and many more to be planned. Yes?
One sold. We're done. We're handing over one. So you're welcome to come and check it out.
So there, I mean, the light of hope, that one that will translate into many more zeros after it, which
the
is
one binary.
The one, the power of the binary, I tell you, and the power of one is what we're trying to show you on Startup Stories as well. And the one man who's shown us the light as far as conscientious building of a dream is concerned is Vikram Arya. Vikram, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Sarthak. Thank you so much.
Mountain Design is the name of the organization. mountaindesign.in is where you go to find out more. This has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. Solid talking about the hills.
So yeah, talking about the hills, if you're dreaming, get back to reality while we take a break, okay?